Welcome to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh. Today we're going to be comparing the Ruger Precision Rimfire to the CZ 457 at 1. Which one should be your next production rifle? Stick around. Alright guys, today we've got two extremely popular rifles in the class for PRS 22 and NRL 22. These are two capable rifles that a lot of people pick up to either plink with, or they're going to take out of the range and go to a competition with it. And they're both pretty good at what they do. There is some slight differences. First of all, being that there's a big price difference between the Ruger Precision rifle and the CZ 457 at 1, and you've got to decide if that price difference is worth it to you. So street value on something like this around $450, and then on the CZ you're looking at about $700. So there are some differences. Like I said, the Ruger has a 20-inch barrel and the CZ has a 16.5-inch barrel. Now you can get this model in a 24-inch model, but I don't think that's very popular. I've seen most of the 16.5-inch barrel models. Beyond that, you've got some hardware difference. So the Ruger RPR is going to come with this M-LOK handguard. It is going to come with a built-in 20 MOA rail, where on the CZ you're going to get an 11mm dovetail, and then if you want a rail, that's kind of on you to go to the aftermarket. Both of these rifles do have an adjustable length of pull and an adjustable cheek riser. I prefer the CZ's 457 Boyd's at 1 stock compared to that of the Ruger Precision rifle. There's a lot of polymer on this rifle, and the stock or chassis doesn't really give you a lot of confidence behind the gun. It's kind of flimsy, whereas the Boyd stock is very solid, and I feel like the hardware is a lot better. But both do have adjustability. Both of these can fit a youth shooter as well as an adult shooter, so if you're looking for something that's kind of universal for you and your kid, you really can't go wrong with either. Alright guys, that's enough for the comparison right now. Let's shoot these at 100 yards and see how they do. Alright, targets out at 100. We've got 2-inch shoot and see targets out there. Both rifles will be shooting with the SK long range match. Both these rifles I've shot 5 to 10 rounds through to season the bore a little bit before we begin. And that's enough talking. Let's get to shooting. Alright guys, CZ 457's turn. See how she does. Alright guys, so before we wrap up the video, I want to talk about both of these guns a little bit more in depth. I know we talked about them a little bit before we started shooting. And as far as accuracy goes, you can tell the CZ definitely takes the cake on the accuracy. The CZ was able to put down about a 1/2 inch group, a little under that at 100 yards. Like I said, both these are using the same ammo. Also, so just full disclosure here, I did shoot some fouling shots before I shot those groups on paper. Those fouling shots were shot with the same ammo. I actually shot 15 fouling shots through the Ruger and 5 through the CZ. I shot 15 through the Ruger because I had to dial in the scope and get it adjusted, and I was trying to give it as good a chance to compete with the CZ as I could, even though obviously, as you can see from the groups, that didn't really much matter. So the CZ only had 5, the Ruger had 15. So I think that first group out of the CZ, you're seeing that the fouling of the bore is still taking place, and we've talked about that on videos before. When you switch ammo types, that you need to foul in that ammo type to the bore and the barrel, because these are using different lubricants. So both of these, before this, I was shooting CCI standard velocity, which is kind of a waxy bullet. And then the Lapua and SK ammo is kind of a greasy type stuff. So I think the first group out of this, you see it's fouling in a little bit, then the ammo gets settled in. So that would have been 10 rounds through the bore before it laid down a 1/2 inch group. So like I said, the Ruger had 15 through the bore, and then we shot an additional 10 on paper, and we got what we got as far as that's concerned. So as far as the rest of the categories here, we can see how they stack up against each other. Price point, obviously the Ruger wins that hands down. It's $150 to $200 cheaper. As far as features on what you get for the rifle, I would still give that to the Ruger as well. You're getting the Ruger at a cheaper price point and a little bit more for your money. Most notably is the 30 MOA rail that comes included on the Ruger, where you're going to have to buy, you'd have to spend $100 to get this rail from Area 419. Now this rail is really nice, and I do enjoy it on all my CZs, but it is an extra $100 expense that you wouldn't have to spend if you went with a Ruger to start with. As far as triggers are concerned, the CZ trigger is definitely nicer than the Ruger. The Ruger adjusts down to about 2 1/4 pounds. The CZ will adjust down to about 1 pound. They're both adjustable. The adjustments on the CZ is definitely a lot better. This is a much cleaner trigger. Now, as far as trigger goes, the CZ definitely wins in that category. It's going to promote a lot more accuracy out of this trigger, just being a lot nicer trigger than the Ruger. As far as fit and finish is concerned, that win also goes to the CZ. The CZ fit and finish is second to none. Most people buy a CZ because of the fit and finish. Also the barreled action in comparison to the two, the CZ has a really smooth barreled action. The machining on the bolt and the receiver on these is really nice. You really can't get this bolt to bind up. It's super slick from the factory and engages repeatedly and very smooth. I really enjoy shooting this. And as far as the shooting experience goes in a bolt gun, especially a precision rifle, the action has a lot to do with that. When you're cycling the bolt and feeding rounds in, if it's feeding smoothly and it's cycling smoothly, it gives you a little confidence in the gun, and it just feels a lot better, makes it a lot more enjoyable to shoot. On the Ruger, that's probably the biggest downfall to this firearm, is the action. The bolt is super crunchy. If you put a little pressure up or down, it'll actually cause the bolt to bind up. See here, I'm applying just a little bit of upward pressure and the bolt is basically in a bind. When you're feeding it, the magazines, you're using the rotary magazine for the 1022. It comes with a 15 round BX15 mag. That mag, in my opinion, is just not designed for precision work. It shaves a little bit of the bullets I've found, unless it's just, you know, a perfect fit, which is pretty rare. So you've got kind of a bindy action, and then you've got a magazine that doesn't really feed super smooth, and I think both of those really take away from the accuracy potential of this rifle. So I think these can be summed up pretty easily. If you're looking for a budget gun that's going to be a good firearm and it's going to be reliable and going to shoot well enough for you to compete in NRL 22, the Ruger is a good option at $400, $450 street value. You really can't beat that. I mean, it's really a good value for what it is. You can easily shoot this in a base or production class for NRL 22 or PRS 22, and it's just going to be a good, reliable gun. Now, if you're looking for performance, I think you definitely got to go with the CZ. The CZ just outperforms it on so many other levels that if you're looking to be a serious competitor in either one of those games and you really want an accurate gun, your chances are much higher of getting an accurate gun out of the box if you spend the extra money and go with the CZ. So budget option, the Ruger all day. If you're looking for performance, you got to go with a CZ, and if I had to recommend one to anyone, I would definitely recommend a 457 variant. So as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, your next production gun should be the CZ 457. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, it sure helps us if you give it a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. We'll be bringing you a lot more content in the next couple of weeks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks, guys.